All right, we're live. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We're going to wait for two more people to join us, then we get started. All right. Okay. I'm just waiting for a few more people, then we get started. I want to put that on my page. Okay, very good. All right. Thank you all for joining today's session. Um, For those that are just joining us, my name is Alamides Mercy. I'm a grad student studying in the United States. It's my pleasure to be your host for today's session. As you guys all know, we always have the session where we bring scholars, experienced scholars to come and share their experience with us, how they get their scholarships, their journey. And yes, it's my pleasure today to let you know that today we would be having today's session is about studying in Turkey. How you can get fully funded scholarships, what are the application requirements, what all you need to know. Okay. And not just that, we have an experienced scholar um, is in Turkey who has gone through the process. He's going to share his experience with us today. So if you have any questions, please drop your questions. We're going to answer the question after the session. And yes, thank you all for joining. Please, if yeah, thank you. This is live. This is live. Thank you. If you can drop a text in the comment section as usual, we always do. I'm sorry I did not do that because I think we are out of time. So please let me know where you're watching us from, where you're joining us from this moment. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to let our scholar introduce himself to hers. All right. So, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your availability to come do this for us today. I really do appreciate you. Please, can you kindly introduce yourself to us, your viewers?
First of all, thank you very much, Mrs. Olamide. Hello, everyone. My name is Bauza Zakaria. Briefly, I would introduce myself as a computer engineer and YouTuber who is on a mission to positively impact students and young professionals in their academic, personal, and professional endeavors. So I try to do this using my social media platforms to share tools, resources, and opportunities with students and young professionals, starting from YouTube to Instagram and LinkedIn. Yeah, so briefly about me, I came to Turkey through the Turkish fully funded scholarship in 2019, and I studied computer engineering in one of Turkey's top universities, thankfully, and I graduated last year. Right now, I am pursuing my master's and also working. I'm very
Oh,
glad. Thank you very for
that's
having me.
Great one. Thank you so much, Scala. That's a good one. It's actually nice to hear that. So you did your bachelor's degree in Turkey.
Yes,
Wow.
that's right.
On a fully funded scholarship.
Quick.
Ah, interesting. I think this is for all undergraduates. Let me quickly put that on the group chat for the undergraduates so they can join the session right now. Um, but yes, that's a great one. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us today. And I'm glad to know you're also a fellow YouTuber. I saw your YouTube channel. Well done. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of information. I'm going to share that later with you guys. In case you don't know, he has a YouTube channel and there is a lot of resources, a lot of information that he has put out there for you all to see. All right. So just one moment. I want to just tell this. Those that are looking for the undergraduate, let them join. Undergraduate in Turkey on a fully, so people can come ask you questions. I already have the questions that I want to ask you, but yes, I would also like want people to ask questions. So thank you all for joining once again. All right, and Mulani Femi, I see you, Juliet, Taiwo, Sunday. I see you guys. Thank you all for taking your time to join today's session. All right, so Bowser, please can you pronounce your name so I don't miss Bowser, right?
Yes, you pronounced this correctly.
Okay, Bowser. Prior to you going to Turkey, where were you from in Nigeria?
I was in Lagos.
Oh,
I was
Lagos.
in the University of Lagos
Oh,
before.
nice. That's
Yes.
interesting. Like, I mean, your state, like your state of origin, Lagos State.
Ah, my state of origin is Oyo, but I grew up in Lagos.
Oh, interesting. I would mistaken you for a probably a northern person. I think. Yeah, but that's
Yes,
just fine. Yeah.
I mean,
So into business, guys. So why did you choose Turkey as your study abroad destination? Why not US? Why not Canada? Why not UK? If you don't mind sharing with us.
yes, it's a very good way to start. Sincerely, initially, when I decided to study abroad, that was at the end of my SS3. My main targets were US, UK, and Canada. In fact, I
Oh,
did options, and I searched a lot for scholarships in these countries. Unfortunately, our grades were not enough to get us a fully funded scholarship. So I think it was 2018 December. I graduated in 2017 July. As at 2018 December, I discovered that okay, I think I need to find a way to improve my grades. So that's when I took the SAT to try to get a high score, hoping that it would get me a fully funded scholarship in one of
US.
the, yeah. The best it got me was a 75 or 85% scholarship, somewhere around that number, but it still wasn't enough because the amount left was quite a lot, about $19,000 to pay. So that was far from it. Eventually, I started looking for other options: Russia, Saudi, Brunei, Malaysia, Japan, Singapore, so many other countries. We tried the opportunities, but thankfully, the Turkish government scholarship worked out, and that's how I came here.
Wow, that's great. That's interesting. That's a good one. So what I always tell people is that in this study abroad journey, you should always have options. Just look at you. You tried the US, UK. You tried to like, but eventually you got a fully funded scholarship to study in Turkey, which is a good one. Thank you for sharing that with us. So we would like to know prior to you moving to Turkey, what was your academic background? Of course, you did. So like all you had was the YX certificate, right?
That's right, and my transcript.
And your transcript. So people used to think, oh, there are more to this. There are a lot of things. Maybe like for an undergraduate, you need so many documents, or do you need any other thing aside that?
Well, if you want to get a fully funded scholarship in the field of engineering, which is my field, you need a lot more. let me not say a lot more so I won't scare people. I mean, you need more than good grades and a good work results. You need to show that you are interested in the engineering field by proving that you have projects related to that field. For example, the most popular one is coding. So you should have coding projects if you want to study computer science or software engineering, something like that, as well as extracurricular activities. Because when we compare our profiles with those applying from the US or Canada or the UK, we are very far behind. These students have a lot of extracurricular activities, competitions, and other things they are engaged with during their last 2 years of high school. So by the time they're applying for university, they already have an offer, and compared to us applying from African countries, I would say generally. As a result, transcripts is necessary. Work, a good work result is good. However, you need SAT, extracurriculars, and a lot of, projects to prove that you are really interested in the field.
Thank you for sharing that. So, for those of you that joined late, Bowser is doing his masters in Turkey, but he came in through the bachelor's route. Okay, so he was just talking about the bachelor's process, the requirement. So it's not just about the grades. Fine, the grades is important, but you need to back it up with extracurricular activities and projects to show, especially for those in engineering. I don't know why I'm repeating what you just said, but yes. So thank you for sharing that. If you guys are getting your question, you can always note them down in the comment section. But for now, it's my own turn to ask my question. Okay, so we would like to also know, um, applying to Turkish university, is it like you apply to the scholarship or you apply to the university? You guess it, is it through the scholarship or through the university route? Like,
That's a good question. Both options are possible. To study in Turkey, you can either apply through the scholarship or you apply to a university directly. So the option I came with is through the scholarship. They have a website, they have an application portal. You put all your documents there, they evaluate you. If you are called for interview, you go for the interview, they evaluate you. And if you're chosen, they would send you an acceptance email. They would place you in a university. That's how it works.
oh wow, that makes sense. So, like, when is the application cycle for that scholarship?
It starts in January, usually in the second week of January, January 10, January 9, and it ends in February, usually in the second to the last week of February, usually February 20, February 25.
Oh, cool. All right,
Yep.
that's great. We'll still talk about some other scholarship aspect later. Thank you for sharing that. So, but like this for the application process generally, what will you say it is actually easy or it's really challenging? How would you rate the application process applying for that scholarship?
Well, I would say it is relatively easy. I mean, the demands are not much and it is very straightforward. So there's a portal. You log in, put in all your details, upload all your documents, choose the universities you want, and click submit. It's a very good way to save time instead of applying to some other universities. What may be difficult is preparing your documents before submitting them. So you need to write a good essay. That would take time. You need to prepare your documents in a good format such that they are clear to read and they are within the size limit. What else could be difficult? You need to research on the universities you want to choose. So they give you the chance to choose 12 choices.
12?
And yes, 12 universities in Turkey.
Wow.
Yeah, they have about 200 universities in Turkey. So you can choose 12 out of this. So you need to spend some time researching which universities would be your top 12 choices. That's maybe the hard part, but I don't think it's hard.
That's cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's interesting to know. So now that we've talked about we know now that you came into the Turkey scholarship, sorry. So you applied using that website so you would not like aside probably we'll still go into the aspect of you doing your masters. Then we'll talk about the requirements for that later. So for now, let's just stick to this thing. So what is scholarship? Does it like cover the whole thing, your tuition, and are you being paid stipend? Can you just give us a brief overview of the scholarship?
Yes, it is a fully funded scholarship. This is what they call a fully funded scholarship. It's a full package because it covers your visa fee. We don't pay for visa. It covers your
Wow.
travel fee. It places you in a university, and it gives you the chance to learn the Turkish language for free for 1 year. They pay you monthly stipend. They place you in a dormitory in your first year, and you get breakfast and dinner. After your first year, if you're a master's or PhD student, you can decide to move to a rented apartment, and they give you a monthly accommodation stipend to support you. Else, they give you health insurance.
Oh, cool.
The process of applying for a residence permit becomes very easy because you are here with the government. Everything is smooth. It's a wonderful program. Yeah, it's very comprehensive. I think they did a good job in providing these opportunities. It's good.
Oh, I see it as full package, total package. So like, is it just for bachelors or is it for both bachelors and masters and PhD?
It is starts from bachelor's. In fact, they have for, I'm not sure if they have for associate level, but I think they do. Bachelor's, master's, PhD, and research, 4 levels. Apart
Okay.
from this, by the way, there's one more other scholarship to study in Turkey for the high school level.
Oh,
It's also fully funded.
okay, cool. I think I would ask this now. I wanted to wait till later before, but the Turkey scholarship, is it different from Turkey Busalari?
No, Turkey Aposlari is the Turkish name. Turkish.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I think I went through the application. I applied for that scholarship. So yeah, I applied for that scholarship. I know the website, I know the interface of the application. So it looks like what I'm familiar. Okay. So yeah, it's the Turkey Boslari. I don't know if I'm saying it the right way, but I think okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right. So now talking you said the scholarship gives you so you don't have to worry about anything. Are you allowed to work outside as an international student? Because going there you'll be an international student, am I right?
Yes, you're right.
Are you allowed to work outside?
It is not encouraged, and how do I put it? So officially, according to the rules of the country, you can get employed and get a work permit after your second year of study as an undergraduate. So the way that works is that the company employing you would apply for a work permit for you. But
Oh,
this is professional job. I believe the job you're talking about is the job for students, maybe working in a restaurant like in the US, right? Or, having a side hustle somewhere. In Turkey, it's not really that popular. When you come here, you would find students, undergraduate students mainly, doing English teaching jobs. That's the main job we do here. So you may be teaching the children of a Turkish family, or you are teaching English in a language center. So working in a restaurant, or working in a barbering salon. You can work in a barbering salon if it's a barbering salon for fellow students like yours, maybe for hair braiding for the ladies. But in a Turkish barbering salon, no, the chances are low. So in that case, working is not the same way it is in Canada, US, and UK. And when you come with this scholarship, they are providing everything to you so that you don't have to work. As a result, they are not welcoming to you when you tell them you want to work. I mean, you don't even have that chance. However, there are informal jobs. So you agree with someone that, okay, I can do this for you. They agree to pay you a certain amount, and you do that on your own. That's at your own risk. So that's how it works mainly here.
all right.
Official job, not really.
Okay. It's a different thing entirely, but that's good. That's cool. So now let's talk about how you've shared your own experience. We'll still like get some insights from you. But let's say you have someone who wants to study in Turkey, probably to bachelor's or master's degree. What advice would you give to somebody? How would you advise them to prepare? Like before we go into like their requirements for masters and all. So what advice will you give to someone who wants to like study in Turkey right now?
The advice I would give to someone applying for undergraduates is different from the advice I would give to masters and
Yeah,
PhD.
yeah, that's true.
It depends on the person's personal situation as well. So let's start from the basics. A student just graduated from high school. They want to study abroad. Go for it. Turkish government scholarship is a wonderful opportunity. You're at the beginning of your life. Go for it. If you get it, just go for it. It's an amazing opportunity. Let's go for masters. The exception for undergraduate students are those who are probably married.
Mm,
So they don't have that package where you can come in with your kid and they fund that process. You would have to apply for your kid separately or your partner, your husband or wife.
bachelor's, right?
Or
Bachelor's, right?
for bachelor's, master's, and PhD. The
Oh,
same
so it
thing
doesn't cover your depend. Okay, okay.
doesn't cover your dependent exactly. So in that case, I would advise whoever has a partner or family to first of all decide well on their own interest. Are you sure this is what you want? Did you get the department you want? Did you get the course you want to study? Is it in a university where you can thrive? Because yes, 200 universities in Turkey. However, some are stronger than the others, and some have certain departments where they do better. You know, there are technical universities, there are universities for social sciences, and certain universities for medicine. I believe, you know, it's the same everywhere in every country. So one has to be sure that, yes, the university I got into is the right place for me. There is a chance for me to develop myself academically and professionally. I can see a future for myself there. And then you can come and try to bring your dependents with you. It's not that complex of a process. The only problem comes with what I've seen mainly with others who try to just come here without thinking it through is that they end up being not happy with, and then everything becomes, you know, big issue.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very good one. So, if you want to bring in, probably you're married, you have kids, please think about it very well. Okay. Just like you said, I think you make your inquiries, do your research, and know that the government is not going to fund your family with you. So, it has to be a separate application. All right. Thank you. So, I think for the bachelor's degree, you already said they need the WAEC certificate and transcript and so let's talk about the masters. I you have experience on the application process for master. So is it like the same? What are the requirements?
For masters now, well, let me first say that the rules are changing. Every year, something is changing.
Mm,
When we applied, our WAEC and transcripts were enough. But then it got to a time where if you want to study in English, you have to provide an English proficiency result, either IELTS or TOEFL. If you don't provide them, you risk the chance of being placed in a department where the medium of instruction is Turkish. So you're going to study in Turkish. A lot of people are scared of studying in Turkish. I mean, you have to learn a new language and then study in that language. Of course, it's not easy. However, it's not a big deal. The only challenge is for medical students. Studying in Turkish for medicine is a different story, I must say. However, for English, it's fine. So now, even for undergraduates, for masters, it doesn't matter. As long as you want to study in English, you have to provide a good result from an English proficiency test. Aside from that, you now need GRE or the Turkish GRE, as we call it. It's ALES, ALES. So you can either take that or you take the GRE. I advise you take the GRE because you can use it all over All right, you can use it applications as well. What else is needed? I think that's all.
No
GRE.
recommend-
You do need recommendation letters too, and you need a good essay, a letter of intent, where you state why you want to study your course, why you want to study in Turkey, and what you plan to do after you graduate, your future plans, basically. Yeah, that's all. I think it's the same requirement for every other scholarship application out there. They just have different names for it.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. So, from what you said, I would like to ask: are there any restriction for courses? Like, is it for all? Like, are there like major preference, priority? Can anybody just like maybe STEM, non-STEM, arts?
You mean the courses available?
Yeah.
Yeah, all courses are available.
Oh,
However,
that's a good one. Okay.
yes, all courses are available. In fact, I saw one last year. What was it called? PhD in Maritime Sciences. I didn't know there was a course like that, but it was interesting to see. However, there is now a limitation on the course you can apply for depending on the course you study. Undergraduates, no. For masters and PhD applicants, if you graduated, if you have an engineering background, or you have, let's say, you studied biology in university, you cannot now apply for software engineering. You cannot, like, the system doesn't let you choose that. So you have to choose something related to your previous study. That is the new limitation. I think it was introduced a few years ago. Yes, so fortunately, it is now that way. So you have to make sure you choose a course that you have history with.
Oh, nice. That's interesting. Thank you for giving us that information. All right. So, guys, for those that are watching us, I want to be getting some like a lot of information. Please, if you have question, drop your question. We will take answer those questions later on. All right. So, like, are there like any specific website or platform aside Turkey Bachelor scholarship? Are there any scholarships that one can find if you want to study in Turkey?
Yes, that's a good question. There are about 7 to 8 universities, one of the top universities in Turkey, that have their own scholarships. Some have fully funded scholarships, some have 75%, 50%, and some have a mix of everything. I can mention Koch University, which is one of the top
What do you call
universities.
it?
Koch, KOC.
KOC, coach.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
mean, this C has a dot under it, so it is pronounced Che.
Oh, Christian. Okay, we are taking note of that. Okay, give us more.
There is Sabanji University, SABATNTI.
NTI. Sabant. Yeah.
G. Sabansi, like that. And there is Bilkent, BILKENT.
Oh, Billy Ken. This one is still a bit. It goes with it.
Yeah, easy
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah.
And there is, I think, there are other private universities as well. One is Atulem, one is Abdullah Gul. There are so many of them. They all have their scholarships.
Scholarship. Okay,
But
so
they are like the top ones in the country right now, the rankings.
okay, so if I want to like get a scholarship, I could look out at I could look out for those opportunities in their website, right? Thank
Yes,
you.
that's right. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate that. All right. So aside Turkey plus Larry, there are also like universities that are offering and they are for international students.
Sorry?
Are they for international students?
The universities?
Yeah, we like international students qualify to apply for their scholarships.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right, good. So, any question, guys, about application process, requirement, or you need to know, please ask now before we move into talking about life as an international student in Turkey. Just so you guys have a probably even though it won't be like a deep understanding, but an idea of what it is like. So before we go into that, the visa application process, did you like have to appear for an interview or it's just online?
the visa application process in our time and now has changed. So let me put it this way. If you're coming to Turkey through the scholarship, the visa process is easy. You just take your passport to the embassy and they do the rest for you because you're going on a fully funded scholarship. It's very easy. If you're coming to study in Turkey on your own, you are self-funded, then you need to prove that you actually have the means to pay. You got the what's it called? The admission letter from the university, and you have the means to pay. That's the biggest issue. That's why it's coming to my head. But apart from that, you need your documents, your passport, and proof of your nationality. The fact that you need to prove that your documents are certified by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Education in your country. That's all, basically. It's not a big deal.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, like, you're trying to say, like, if I don't get a scholarship, I can decide to come study in Turkey, right?
Of course, a lot of students are here on their own.
Oh, interesting. That's a good one. So, like, but what would be the average course? Like, maybe annual course, cost of attendance for per year?
The cost of attendance per year.
Yeah, I can estimate.
Let's see. It's been a while I checked the numbers, but I think right now, for masters, the last one I remember was about $5,000 to $6,000.
Really? That's
Yes. They are very cheap universities in Turkey. It's a very cheap destination. You're expecting tens of thousands of dollars, right?
so why are people not going to Turkey to study?
Of course, a lot are coming, sincerely.
Because
Yes,
that's like that's very cheap.
Yeah, for
Compared
most,
to
is the cheapest option. Of course, there are options of $15,000, $20,000, $30,000,
you
but
can get 5,000.
you can get 5,000. You can get 4,000 for a year.
Oh my God, this is it. Information is key because even UK charge more than that. I think some countries, yeah, US charge more than that. So, like, why not go to and like the education system, academic system is really great over there. So, guys, I'm putting out to you for those of you that some people will be like, "Oh, my budget is 30 million. My budget is," so you can see that this can actually work for you if you have probably limited resources. You can consider going for masters in Turkey by yourself, fully sponsored. You don't have to take loan or $5,000. I know it's still a lot of money in Naira, though, but it's still a lot of money. A lot of money, but compared to what you would get in other countries, it is a very, very great one. Thank you for that. It's actually good. So, if you apply for the scholarship, you don't get it, and you have the money, please go for it because there are opportunities that lies ahead of you taking that step. Nice, interesting. I'm just getting to know that, which is really, really, really amazing and mind blowing. Okay, so let's talk about life as a student in Turkey. Somebody is asking, I'm sorry, before we go into that, do they accept application fee? Those universities, they take application fee?
I think they do. The university mentioned, right? Those three.
Yeah.
I think they would ask for. Not all universities in Turkey require application fees, but some do.
Did they give waivers? You don't know?
Usually it's like this. So the university system in Turkey are of two types: the state-funded universities, government, and the private universities. The private universities are expensive. The government universities are cheap, in terms of fees. However, more competitive to get into. But they have more capacity. But the private ones have very limited capacity. So one needs to be strategic in choosing. The three universities I listed are private universities, so there's a higher chance for them to have application fees. The state-funded universities, what we call government universities or public universities, may not have application fees. Most of them do not have. I think I can only remember one that has right now.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So I want to believe that your question has been answered, Rosie. So there might be application fee, but what's the currency over there? Is it dollar, US? I don't know.
It's lira, Turkish
Lira,
lira.
Turkish
Yes.
lira. Okay. Okay. All right. Is it like expensive compared to dollar?
$1, I'm not sure of the rate, it changes all the time. It's about, let's say, 38 lira.
Okay. So let's say I want to pay application fee. How much would that
Hmm.
be in
Good question. Some, let's say $50. I think
$50?
that's, so it could be more than that, it could be less. There should be one of 20. I think I've seen one of 100.
Okay.
So let's say minimum of 25, maximum of 100. That's how much. That's a lot.
A good thing is that you don't have to pay for application fee if you are going through the Turkey Bursary scholarship. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a good one. So take advantage of that. Well, at the same time, if you think you have the money, you're capable, you want to like really go study and you have the money, please go for it. I would say go for it. Shoot your shot. Yeah.
100%. And let me add to that, please. If you have the means to pay for your education, studying in Turkey, especially in cities like Istanbul, Ankara, or Antalya, is a worthwhile investment. Why? Because these are cities you know that are full of several international students, and the community there would, would give you opportunities. You can get a chance to work even before you graduate. You can get a chance to get a job. You meet people from different walks of life. You meet people that will challenge you in ways you cannot imagine. You meet
Mhm.
people that will help you grow. And you are learning a new language, a new culture. So the kind of personal growth it adds to your life is immeasurable. As a result, if you get a chance, if you have the means to study in Turkey, I would recommend Istanbul 100%. Except you don't like crowded places. If you don't like Lagos, don't come to Istanbul. Yeah.
I don't like Lagos, so I won't come to Istanbul. So aside Istanbul, what are like countries you recommend for students?
Aside Turkey,
Aside Istanbul, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly.
no problem. Oh, you mean other cities in Turkey aside Istanbul? Well, I would recommend Antalya. Why? Because it's a city in the southern part and it's warmer there. The capital is Ankara, just like Abuja. It's very cold and calm there, so it's very good for studies. If you want to do research, if you want to study PhD, and you need your space to do your research properly, Ankara is the best bet for you. I recommend Izmir. Izmir is in the eastern side. It's close to Greece. So it's a wonderful city full of people from different walks of life, and the universities are also great. I would recommend one more, Eskişehir. It's old city, but it's not a very old city. It's actually quite advanced, and It's a very small city, but two great universities are there, and it is just for students. You go there, you see everybody just students. It's like no old people there, so it's a very good study. The ecosystem is good.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
there are many great cities to study in Turkey. There are 81 cities in Turkey in total. These five are like the ones I really recommend to students. They would have a good time during school and outside school.
Oh, that's one point. I like the way you made like you nailed it. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so do you speak their language right now? Do you
Yes,
understand?
I must say that when you get the scholarship, when you accept to come to Turkey through the scholarship, you have to learn Turkish language for 1 year. You have to spend your first year learning the language. And while some people would see this as a setback, wasting 1 year of your life, I think it is the best investment you can make for yourself. Why? Because when you come to a country where English is not the language of instruction, where English is not the spoken language. You need to understand the language of the people for you to have a smooth, wonderful life there. So I think learning Turkish language in your first year would be the best investment you make to your academic life. That way, you would enjoy your stay and everything would go smoother, easier.
I think a lot of people run away from non-English speaking countries because they feel it's too hard to learn the language. But what do you have to say about that?
Very good point. Look, it depends on the person's circumstance, sincerely. A man is 30 years old. He has a wife and 2 kids. Why would he come and start spending 1 year learning Turkish language? Nah, it doesn't work for him. But somebody is 16, they are fresh, they just graduated from university, the brain is working. If you teach them one thing today, it will stay for life. So they will definitely to come and learn tech. Yes, but people, 35, 45, they still come to Turkey, they say they want to do their PhD, they say they want to do research. And learning a new language is not a challenge for them. So it really depends on the person. However, I would advise if you're still between the age of 20 to 30, don't see it as a challenge because Turkish language is actually very, very easy. I mean, we are lucky to be English speakers. Because I teach English, I understand how difficult it can be now that I've learned Turkish too. It's an easy language, so I think it's not difficult to learn. And when you are learning a language, if you are within people where you get to practice it every day, it's easier. People in Arab countries or Asian countries try to learn English and they are speaking another language every day. It's more difficult. But when they move to the US or the UK, in 6 months, they start speaking fluently. Why?
Yeah.
Because it helps you, it forces you to just blend in. So in 6 months, you can understand basic Turkish. In 2 years, you'll be speaking fluently.
My, that's cool. That's interesting. All right. So, this is out of it, but like for somebody that wants to visit Turkey, do you need to understand their language? No.
No, you don't. So visit? No.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
visiting, it's just like Nigeria. When I think of Nigeria, if one wants to visit Nigeria, they have 2 options, Lagos or Abuja. You wouldn't tell them to go to what comes to my head, Ebonyi State. Nobody goes there exactly. So if they come to Istanbul or Ankara and they go to the touristic areas, they would most likely meet people speaking English. So
Nice. That's good to know. So, talking about life as an international student in Turkey, how would you rate the experience so far? How's the journey been? Like, yeah, can you just share with us the challenges, the good parts, the interesting ones, the lessons? How has life as an international student in Turkey been like?
it has been a very good question. Yeah, it has been amazing. But
Amazing.
yeah, how do I put it? It had the challenging moments, of course, but I see that as positives because those are the things that help you grow as a person. My story is different in the sense that we came in 2019, September, I remember, and COVID started in February 2020. As a result, we spent our first year indoors. So I didn't have any Turkish friends. I only had friends from my dormitory and they were all international students. And I did not know my classmates. I knew them from the Turkish class. So that first year was for Turkish learning. It was interesting, Imagine you are in front of an Indonesian person. They understand English or maybe they don't understand well. And you have to speak with a little Turkish, and then you use your hands and body. It's interesting. Yeah. So it was like that for the first year. Then we finished that in September 2020. Then we resumed school in October. And then I spent the first year too at home, the dormitory, studying. So we're just having our classes online and exams online. So I did not have any Turkish friends. And then we finished that in 2021. In 2022, second semester, we returned to school. We returned to school in March 2022. We spent 1 semester in school. I was trying to make friends then, unfortunately, because 1 year had passed, everybody already had their groups, so it was difficult to find exactly. But luckily, I had a Malaysian classmate, a very wonderful guy, and we were together. So a Nigerian and a Malaysian trying to figure out things in Turkey, the Turkish language. Very interesting. And then, unfortunately, in 2023 February, the earthquake hit, and it was so terrible that everything had to close down again. So we had to go home again and study online. So I would say that 2023 ending / 2024, when I was in my third year, was when I finally felt like I was in first year of university.
Oh.
Yeah. As a result, it was my first time trying so many things. That was like 4 years after I get into Turkey. And now 2024, I graduated. So I felt like I spent 1 year in school.
Oh.
But
Wow.
however, it was wonderful.
Your
Looking
program
back,
was for 4 years?
undergraduate is for 4 years. Studying the language 1 year, that's 5 years in total.
Really? So the first year you were not doing any study?
No,
Just
no
like-
studies, just language.
Wow.
It's
Interesting.
in it's we even complain that 1 year is not enough because they give you new. You have to learn the whole language in 1 year, so you have to learn new things every week, every 4 days, kind of, and you have to memorize them and practice them and do assignments, and it's not easy. So it's actually good they did it like that. If not, we wouldn't learn.
You'll be able to like compile the two together. Interesting. Oh wow.
School is
Can you like probably just say word for us in the what do they call the language?
Turkish.
Turkish. Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot that. That's Turkish. Yeah. So can you just probably say something to us in Turkish?
Nahaba. That means what's up.
Oh, Narva. Okay.
Merhaba means hello.
Oh,
Yemek, food. Ekmek
food.
is bread.
I think I can still understand. Yeah, man. Okay, food. All right, thank you. Yes. So, if you guys have any question, once it's few minutes now, we won't be taking any more questions. So please drop your questions. All right. Sir Bowser, please. How is the like academic system in Turkey?
Hmm.
Like, talking from experience, how would you rate it? Like,
The academic system overall is good. They have done a good job in setting up a good curriculum. The academic system of a university depends heavily on the content of the curriculum, and I would say they have the Ministry of Education that coordinates these affairs, and they try as much as possible to update their curriculum every year. My university was extra strict on their curriculum. It was very, very demanding. So for that, I give them a plus because that would help you learn more. We studied computer engineering, but it felt like we studied software engineering, computer science, systems engineering, and electrical all together because of the kind of curriculum we had. So, plus, they have good laboratories, especially in the top universities in the top cities, like top 5 cities like Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir, Antalya, have good resources. Hence, you have somewhere to practice the theory. You know, things missing in our education system, Pakatom is somewhere to practice what you learn. So, I mean, when they say top-notch laboratories, these guys are investing heavily in that. One area that I think they can do more in is in the field of sciences, biology, chemistry, and medicine. They're doing well in medicine, but for biology and chemistry, they still need to invest more. I believe what they have is good enough, but when you compare it to what they have in the European countries and the US, they are a little bit behind. So I think with time, they would also catch up. But in the field of engineering, they've done well.
nice. I would like to know what is Turkey known for, like well known for.
It depends on where you're calling from.
Like,
Well,
like if they say Turkey like this, maybe because I don't know. Eh?
the city of Istanbul.
Istanbul. Okay, okay.
a lot of people think Istanbul, the city, is
Is it?
Turkey country. You don't even know what it is. So a lot of people think of Istanbul when you say Turkey, or
Is it
they
like a
think of
tourist place? Is it like a people where people go?
it is very
Okay.
touristic. Istanbul is the center of tourism.
Okay.
So,
All right.
what do
Nice.
I mean?
Interesting. Okay, we are rounding up, guys. Thank you so much, so much. So, will you encourage someone to consider studying in Turkey? Would you
Yes, I
tell them
will.
to go to another country or come to Turkey?
It depends on the course. It depends on their personal situation. Undergraduates, yes, I wouldn't hesitate. Please study in Turkey. Except you,
Undergraduate, yes. Okay.
yes. Except that undergraduate has made a research and found out that Tur- Turkey, no Turkish university has the necessary um, resources to help them advance in their field. If somebody wants to do neuroscience, for example, that's a very deep one. You may try to find with the university in Turkey. If you don't find, then you can move somewhere else. So if your department is not very niche and you don't have something you are really looking for, you're just looking for, okay, university, my degree, my certificates, you're good to go. However, for masters and PhD students, they must do a lot of research. I must say, I hear you, Ms. Olamide, in your videos on YouTube, you always enforce the importance of research. Like, it's very, very important that you study where you are going or the university or what they are good at and what they are not good at. So for masters and PhD applicants, I would 100% recommend that you decide based on your own situation. As you know, there are amazing stories and there are also sad stories. So a lot of work needs to be done in that area. That's why talking to people like Ms. Olamide can really help, I believe.
Oh yeah, thank you. So yes, guys, you guys are listening to what he has said. Honestly, I feel like most times what I had a session and I was saying that ignorance kills a lot. Many people do not know and they don't even make efforts to like ask. You get the point. So imagine now, I'm just saying that with $5,000 you can actually like come study in Turkey, like the cost of attendance, which is actually cool. It makes sense to me. If I'm able to like get a amount of money, I could invest it, and I know at the end of the day I could get a job, get something doing, and I'll be fine. So because all we're trying to look for is this experience, this study abroad experience, like diversity. Gain, when you study abroad, there is this advance, like I don't know, you are more experienced, you're more enlightened, and you know better. You get it. You can decide to go back to your home country to contribute back to your own country or you continue your life. But there is one advantage people don't really understand is that the experience gives you so much, I don't know, so much clarity, so much understanding about perspective. Exactly. Very good. A wide. So when you see life in this angle, you see this in this angle, that actually help you cloud your knowledge. So that is that. Thank you so much, Browser. Thank you, sir. And this question, we have just two questions. We are not taking questions after this. How can I get a full scholarship? What are the criteria? You already said it. You already
Or
said it. Yeah. Right.
let me recap because they specified you just finished secondary school.
That's
Number
good.
one, work certificates should be ready. Some people don't have certificates, no problem. You just need that online slip, right? You put your code and you get the slip. That's one. If you don't have work, you can use Neko too, no problem. The grades just need to be good, that's all. Your transcripts. Some people say they don't have transcripts. What I would advise you to get is the results of your last 2 or 3 years of high school, SS3 and SS2 results, and
Yeah.
SS. You put them in a PDF format, you are good to go.
That's
Possible, take SAT, please. It's very necessary. It gives you an edge over other applicants, especially if you have a good score in that. Number four, if you don't mind studying in Turkish, no problem. But if you want to study in English and nothing else but English, then you have to submit an English proficiency test with a good score. I think 60, 6.5 IELTS is good, 80 in TOEFL is okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's
18 TOEFL. Okay. That's okay.
Average.
Yeah, I think it is even easy to get there. So
Okay.
you mentioned something talking about it just keep my mind. You mentioned the WAHEC SAT. So I want to buttress on that point. So if you write SAT, you also have the advantage to apply to other US schools to get scholarships. So you can
So,
easily use that to also apply. So consider that it's going to give you leverage. And written SAT, will you say it's a ADS exam from your experience?
SAT is not hard. However, it's not the kind of mathematics we are used to from secondary school. As a result, one needs to first of all rewire the brain to think in a certain way, and then one can do well in the exam. At least that was the case for me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So I remember teaching SAT. I think 5 years ago, I used to teach SAT. So
Mm,
I used to like as a private tutor for the SAT. So I think it requires so many like maths. It requires a lot of reasoning, like
reason.
quantitative reasoning, like all those word problems you have to think. Even me as a tutor, sometimes I have to like find a way to explain to my students, in a way that. But yeah, so it's not an ad exam. You just have to. It's a challenging like you have to get yourself prepared. So don't be scared that will I pass, will I not pass? And for the English aspect, would you say because I don't really know so much about that?
Let me put it this way: if you grew up all your life in Nigeria, there's a kind of English we speak. We speak correct. Yes, it's true. Sincerely, if one is not careful, one would think that English is amazing because of the way we speak. There's a lot of pidgin, there's a lot of Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo words that affects not only the pronunciation but the sentence structure. Even from the way we are speaking now, you can sense it.
Yes.
Once you can identify that, okay, I need to change how the setters of these exams, is that a correct word? Those setting the exam, they have a different view of English. They have the way they want to sound. They have the way they want you to write. Once you can change, your configuration to that by doing a lot of practice questions, it's easier. It's way easier. And
Hmm.
that's same thing for maths. You practice a lot and you are good to go. If you practice heavily for SAT in 1 month, you can get a solid 1,350 practice well.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. You guys are just joining. I'm so sorry you're late. Okay. We actually have a strict time in which we want to keep our speaker here today. So the full scholarship, he has mentioned this, Oluwanifemi. He said it covers everything. You don't need to worry about anything. First year, you're allowed to stay in the dorm. Yeah.
Let me add something, please. If Oluwanifemi is asking about transportation from your country to Turkey, yes, they provide the flight tickets. And they even provide the flight ticket to return to your country after you graduate. So they
Wow.
want you to finish successfully, go back to your country and impact the lives of people.
But that's a
Uh,
very good scholarship. Very good
exactly,
one.
exactly. So
Interesting.
accommodation they provide.
Thank you for answering that. Thank you so much, sir. Um, Sir Ajayi Ayobami, you can go and like check um uh like you can watch this session is being recorded, so please you can rewatch. All right, thank you all for joining us today. And please I want us to say thank you to Sir Baoza for taking time out of his busy schedule to come speak to us this evening, afternoon. Yeah, I think it's evening over there too, right?
It's 10 p.m. here.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry for keeping you up this late. We really
Just
do appreciate you, sir. So he has a YouTube channel. Honestly, if you want to know anything about studying in Turkey, you would find it there because I actually found him on YouTube. I found you on YouTube, yes. So I came from your YouTube channel, so I'm a subscriber. So please, guys, check him out. He is doing a great job on YouTube. So if you have any resource, I think it's Bowser, your name, right?
yes, Bowser Zachary.
Yeah, I'm going to type that in the comment section. And but while I do that, we have come to the end of today's session. Before we leave, I would like Sir Bowser to leave us with a final word for someone that is dreaming of studying abroad but they don't know where to start.
Thank you very much. I think it was a wonderful session, and thank you. You're doing a great job as well. I've been following your YouTube channel for some time now too. To our dear listeners, thank you for joining this session. If I would leave you with a few sentences, number one would be that when you intend to study abroad, please go all in. A lot of friends, I remember back then we were in school, like, it'd be nice if I get a fully funded scholarship to the US. But that idea just stays there. There's a difference between having a good idea and executing it sincerely. So sitting with your phone, browsing on Instagram, hoping that you find somebody that will tell you about a new opportunity is not the best way to go, my dear friends. Rather, one needs to hit Google, make Google their best friend, research, take notes, apply, improve. It's an iterative process. So you just keep trying and trying. And I hope, inshallah, that one gets the dream scholarship or even better than that. Sincerely, it also comes with a bit of luck. I would say I was lucky to have applied at that point because the next year was COVID year, and then the applications, a lot of things changed. So that's stuff of procrastination. We must eradicate it from our lives. But you just find the opportunity, do whatever you can. Even if you don't have the complete document, just give it a try. You never know. Sincerely. Yeah. So I hope that helps. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I really, really do appreciate you. And thank you to everybody that has joined today's session. Okay. And we would still have continue with our live sessions. So many, we're coming up with Australia, studying in Australia. So your study abroad dream is valid, and by God's grace, it's going to come to pass. Don't give up. Okay. You don't have to say this route or nothing. Explore opportunities. You can hear what our speaker said earlier. Initially, he wanted to go study in US, UK, Canada, and God having it, he got a fully funded scholarship to study in Turkey. And here he is doing his master's at the same time working in Turkey. So you never can tell. So guys, I'm just trying to putting this out to encourage you all to not do not give up, and keep trying, keep joining. If you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe to the channel. And yes, to say thank you to our speaker, please go subscribe to the channel. It's gonna benefit you yourself because you're gonna get a lot of information. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.